what do you expect in the next 60 to 90 minutes? Anybody?
Sir, mic.
Am I audible?
You are audible, madam, but the student would like to ask the questions once the session, in between the session.
Yes, so students can ask questions. So right now I just want to know what do they expect to gain at the end of the session, right? What is the object of the session? What do you want out of the session?
Anyone would like to talk? These are the first year students, madam. We are grooming the students from the first years. So maybe in between the session, when the session goes on, maybe if they'll get any questions, they're going to ask.
Sure. So I didn't want to keep it more academic. I can.
Understood.
I expect literally every one of you to talk because that's going to be your first and foremost skill, guys. Wherever that you go, you need to be able to talk. Talk what you feel, right or wrong, doesn't matter. Okay. So that's the rule number one. Let me just present what I have, and we will go from there. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Anita madam, I'm sorry we are unable to see your screen. Can you say present now?
I am doing.
Yeah, it's down, it is there, present now.
No, I am presenting.
Now it's coming.
Okay, so let's see. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yeah, it's okay now. Thank you.
Okay, so the first thing that I want all of you to understand is that, right? So what you learn in your books is absolutely important. It is foundation. That foundation hasn't changed for years, right? It would have been the same from the telegram days to your telephone days to your mobile to your Facebook, WhatsApp. Whatever that you're doing, these basics hasn't changed. Even when I went through my MBA literally 20 years back, it was the same, right? Having said that, is your environment same? Is your career option same? Is the way things are delivered, not just from an employability perspective, but in terms of even the business, is that same? No, isn't it? So how do we really thrive? If you really want to be successful, then you got to adapt to the change, and you also need to keep looking for the future. Okay, and I'm here to again help you to see what more beyond the books that you need to know, so that you can be ready there and you can be successful. I know the first question was, all of you finding a bit clear this thing, so I wanted to ask saying, hey, if you had a magic wand in terms of your career, what would you choose and why? I would give a quick 1 minute to see if anybody is willing to, share. What do you want? What would you want as your magic career? Is there anyone who would like to share?
Anyone would like to ask?
Okay, so Dr. Martina promised me that you are a very young crowd, very interactive crowd. So I want to see that in action, guys. Okay. So I'm just going to skip. We will come back to this question. Okay. And I also want to see what your opinion of skills required are. But we'll again come back to this towards the end of the session. If you look at the key skills that we see today, okay, it is basically into 3 categories. One is the technical skill, which if you're looking at employment or in any particular area, it could be anything, just about anything, marketing, finance, HR, everything has a technical skill. So technical skill need not just be an IT skill, right? The functional, the domain specific skills within your area of focus is categorized as technical skill. That is key. But that typically people tend to gain with experience. There are typical courses. If you're really keen or passionate towards a specific industry, then you can pick up and start learning those. Otherwise, you will get to learn this on the job. Okay. The other one, very, very key, is your interpersonal skills. Most of the interviews, one, while they judge your technical skill, but the expectation would be that you're just starting, right? When you start your career as a fresher, you have some basic knowledge, but not much. Having said that, your interpersonal skill becomes key when you start your career, and not just then. As you grow up, the bubble size of this interpersonal skills and conceptual skills starts increasing in terms of importance, and the need for technical skills starts coming down. So if you want to know what is technical skills, again, feel free to stop me, ask questions, wherever, okay? So mostly technical skills falls within these three categories, like business acumen. When I say business acumen, just so that you are able to relate, let's take few fields that you might potentially start your career in, right? Let's take marketing. So then you need to know the typical marketing methodologies, techniques, and your industry in which you are marketing, right? And your peer industries as well. So all of those will come under your business acumen. And basic tools. So tools are anything that you use for marketing at that point in time, right? And platforms. If you are doing marketing, there are so many niche platforms that will be there, which you would end up using. Each organization will have its own platform of choice, but having said that, as we start specializing in a specific platform, and that comes as an advantage for you, right? If we take HR, then to know about the people skills, and there are tools, again, platforms and tools for HR management, for things like PeopleSoft and all of that, which will help you in terms of your specific role. So those are the technical tools that you need. I'm going to stop here and ask, do you have any questions at all? So how does this relate to your specific field, or what do you need?
Guys, everyone can ask.
Any questions, guys? Okay, Martina ma'am, so can you just start going by the first row? So each question then we will start asking everyone, right? So if they're not volunteering, then they will speak as they sit.
Yeah, students, madam would like to interact with you guys. You could ask the questions, she's ready to answer. And this is a brilliant opportunity for you guys.
So just pass on the mic.
Yeah.
Like I want each and every one of them to talk.
Any question? Any question?
No, guys, just treat me as your friend. If you can talk so much with Srinivas, then why not with me?
Skills. Technical skills what? What type of the technical skills the students are supposed to learn during their MBA? That's what they're asking. It can be domain specific or interview specific also something. Like domains like marketing, HR, finance and operations. If you can elaborate, that was the question from one of the girls. Amma, you just come forward, madam would like to see you. Come here, come here. Come here, friend.
Sir,
No,
they
she's
don't even have to come forward. If you just
she's
pass the
coming.
mic on to them, then they can just sit there and ask the questions.
She's coming. 1 minute. Come here, ma.
And anyways, most of you are wearing masks. I won't even recognize you next time. Okay?
She's in Canada. We are
more brief or technical skills, like basically they know.
So what's your good name? Let's go with that.
Deepika.
You're looking very cute. I must say that again. Sorry, what's your name?
Deepika.
Pratibha. Okay.
Sorry, Deepika.
And it's okay. So what is the field that you think you would want to choose?
I'm going for finance.
You went for finance, okay, brilliant. In fact, last session for your seniors, we did specific to finance, right? So if you are choosing finance, and then within the finance market, right, there will be like plenty of choices for you, right? You can become a financial analyst, you can become a capital market, you can get into a mortgage market, so you can get into banking, you can get into market research within the financial field. You can even get into real estate brokerage because that requires financials. So if you have a specific interest that you think, hey, within finance and this is the role that I want to play, then start that as your specific focus or domain. Right? Again, when it comes to that, there are a lot of these tools. For example, if you become a financial analyst, there are specific tools for financial analysts. I would share what we have in finance specifically because you came up and asked with Martina ma'am. And she should be able to share it back with you so that you will have some insights on what tools, what technologies, and within finance, what are the different varieties of career choices that you will have, right? So you can start planning towards that. Okay, thank you so much for coming forward. If nobody else has any questions, then we will keep moving. Okay, you really set example as a leader. Okay, you should feel proud of that.
Thank you so much.
Yes, so I am just going to continue. Moving into interpersonal skills. This is it looks very simple, right? Communication, team prayer, entrepreneurial, emotional intelligence. Let's start with communication. Okay. Now, if you struggle where you're like 100 people are there or how many ever folks there and I'm sitting remote, just to talk or ask a question, how would you answer in your interview, right? So communication is not just the language that you speak, the correctness, the grammar, no. It all starts with your confidence. If you're able to sit up and speak confidently, that is one of the things of communication, right? Is it language? Yes, to some extent. But as long as you are able to communicate what you want to communicate, that's all that matters, without struggling and without stumbling. Is it right or wrong? Let me tell you, as interviewers, as part of the leadership panel, we do not see whether your answer is right or not. All we see is, are you able to assimilate your thought and express it in a way that we can understand? Right. The next one, very, very key thing is a team player. You can wonder how we would judge whether I'm a team player or not in an interview. We will come to a few interview questions and we will see how that happens, right? And the next one is your entrepreneur skills. Okay. So, irrespective of whether you want to, have your own business or if you're looking for an employment, irrespective of whether it's finance, HR, marketing, this is one of the key skills. So what comes under entrepreneur skills, right? What would you do if you're an entrepreneur? You have to make decisions, right? And you should be able to start owning things, start feeling, taking responsibility of anything and everything that has happened around you and in front of you, not just that, oh, it was not my mistake, I didn't do it, I was not party to it, no. So those are your entrepreneurial skills, right? Key to entrepreneurial skill is your decision making. Last but not the least, emotional intelligence. Okay, so this is, when we started 20 years back, this was very, very, very minimal importance at that point in time, while the communication was on the higher priority. But the more and more and more that we see recently is your emotional intelligence. Why? Emotional intelligence is how you take a situation and how you react to a situation, right? As you get into your career, you will realize you there will be instances where you will be put into a stressful situation and you need to handle it. So if you take the stress as stress, and if you do not take it in a very right way, then probably you will not be able to make the right decisions. So if you do not take the right decisions, it will not just be you, it will be the entire team, and as managers, you would have your team, you would have to make decisions, and that will not be right. And hence, for emotional intelligence becomes key. There are many tests and sample papers that happen. These days, mostly even along with your written test, this is checked or judged upon. I'm going to stop again here, and I'm going to stop for questions.
Anyone would like to ask a question on interpersonal skills? Yeah, Miss Student. Anita madam, there's a question for one girl.
Sure. That's Nandita. She doesn't need to introduce, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Go on.
Ma'am, can you explain about emotional intelligence? Like, can you give an example on how can we deal with such skill and how should we adapt that particular emotional intelligence skill?
So absolutely. So let me give you an example that happened recently. Okay. This is one of my team members, and this is at my work. I manage a client. Okay. And so he manages testing for me on the client side. And when we basically, he's very close to the client. Okay. But having said that, there are places where we have to demarcate client and demarcate what we bring as a service. When we had questioned him, he got so stressed that he started going in, cribbling and complaining to the client. He's a great guy. He's very strong, I'm not able to lose him right now, but having said that, we will move him eventually. That's a decision we made. You know why? Because he was just not able to accept some of our feedback in a very constructive way, right? So that is your emotion. And when you do not handle it right, and when you let your emotions play at work, okay, and then you start passing your emotion on, and then you start thinking others are going to be supportive of you, eventually what happens as leaders, it will be visible. It's not that you are talking to somebody else and others will not get to know. You would know that at some point in time it will be visible. So your question on, hey, how do you handle things? Few things. I tell my daughter all the time, right? If you were to treat somebody, let's say your boss at work is upset, your staff is upset, that doesn't mean that you look at it saying, oh my God, they scolded me, they said I'm not right. Instead of that, the way to look at it is, how would you handle, I know I'm a parent, so I keep saying, how would you handle if it was my child, right? One, we would get angry because we are always forgiving. Two, there is always a point of view. If you keep looking it from your shoes, your point of view, it might look different. When you step out and start looking from others' point of view, you will see a rationale. So every time somebody is coming and telling you certain things, irrespective of their tone, because at most of the time that's what triggers emotions, right? If you can just see the value or merit of what it means, that can give you constructive feedback. This I tell my daughter as well all the time, saying, hey, if somebody's saying you got to improve, right? Okay, so this is an instance my daughter's school, so she came and said, you know what, so she drew a picture, she put it on her school board, and somebody came and said, what have you drawn? So I think she goes into this attitude to say, you know what, can you show me you can draw it better, and this and that, and she came and narrated. I'm like, girl, cool, right? If somebody didn't like it, you got to appreciate they have a different perspective, and it shows that you have a potential area of improvement. You should be glad somebody gives you feedback, rather than thinking somebody is judging my work, right? It only gives you an opportunity to improve. So if you always look at things as an opportunity to improve, that will give you a different perspective. Number two, there might be instances where people will really not understand you and they can judge you. So again, what I tell them is, it is not about others, right? It is about you. As long as you know yourself and you know you are right, you know you are not guilty, somebody else pointing fingers and saying it is not right, you don't have to feel bad for it, you don't have to react for it, because they're not you, right? So there are mindsets and perspectives you can look at to say every single situation, you look at it pragmatically, every single situation, do not attach emotions, right? The minute you start attaching emotion to a situation, your decisions will not be right. Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah. Boys? No question? Okay.
No cell phones, please. Do they allow cell phones during your class? Thank you. Okay, so I'll keep going on, and I have few interview questions which I'll ask you guys towards the end. And okay, so next is your conceptual skills, right? So what falls under conceptual skills? If you look at your technical skills, I say, hey, to start with, to just get an entry, in whichever field that you're looking at, you will need some basic technical skills. At the same time, people will judge you on your communication, because that's key. But what really differentiates yours, okay, among any average candidate or an average entrepreneur or a business person? Sorry, Shingra said, right, something?
No, madam, nothing is.
Okay.
Please continue.
Okay, sir. Two, where will you stand out, right? So, what type of candidates for us really stand out as, wow, you know, they are different. They are great talent, we really need them. Is that not just looking at things from that particular situation, but looking at the larger picture, right? You should always start looking for the background, looking for the impact of it. Again, not just within a small scope or small thing as to what happens next. So let's take marketing or advertising as an example, right? So if you are targeting a particular customer and if you are creating an advertisement, how does that impact that particular target audience? It could be children. I'm just giving an example, right? At the same time, also you need to know how does that impact the commercial or the advertisement is clear, the larger audience, right? Does it have a social message, or will that be socially not right? And how do you bring in creativity? Right? So as when I started, I said we went all the way from Telegrams to right now your Twitters to Insta. How did all this come from? All these came from somebody thinking beyond them, right? Somebody always looking outside the box. So if you restrict yourself to right and wrong, you will never think outside the box, right? So that creativity is key. So these days, just to do what needs to be done, bots are getting built, okay, across, whether it can be a software bot or a physical hardware bot. So that's going to get replaced some point in time, right? What will bots not be able to replace is the creativity, right? When you're able to think completely new, completely innovative and all that. And innovation and transformation. So when we say transformation, this requires for you to have a vision as how the change has to be, right? And then how do you drive the change? So that's where your innovation and transformation comes. So this becomes, I would say, as your key differentiator, right? In any field that you go, they will start seeing how you do it. So if you're saying, hey, finance is such a mundane thing, it's all numbers, how do you bring in creativity there? There are so many ways in terms of the models that they bring creativity in. Okay. Again, let me give you a small example. So this, I didn't know. So we are working on a large deal right now, and I have heard of risk reward models and all that. And one of what he does, he was more than a vice president in the company, and he was like, hey, Anita, so do you want to give a bonus model for the client? And I was like, really? I thought the bonus was all a motivator for employees. He's like, no, so this is a consulting engagement. So he's like, so we will give them a band. So they have to pay us the minimum 1.5 million if they're happy. Having said that, they can pay us up to 2 million if they're extremely happy. So we will have some metrics to define the satisfaction level of the services, and based on that they will pay you higher. So who would think of a bonus for a customer engagement, right? So it is a service that we are doing as an organization. So that's where creativity comes in. So you don't really have to think this is the way it needs to be done. Okay. Literally, only these, and go back this way, these are the main themes or categories of skills. Okay. While you guys start picking up the technical skills, it is available in multiple places. I would emphasize start with your interpersonal skills. Okay, so this will get you through, and if you're able to develop your conceptual skills, this will help you differentiate yourself right now and any time in career, right? However big you grow as an executive, your conceptual skills is what will help you differentiate. Okay, so with that, okay, I just happen to go, because all of you are into your management, and like I said, things have changed. I just thought it might be useful for you to know these are some of the real high-paying management careers, right? You can become a manager across anything. There will be a management even right from the smallest shop to your largest financial services industries. But where is the niche? Is architecture and engineering manager. So irrespective of those who learn, their engineering or their architecture, this has become a high demand job because we all have those multi-million projects and all that. But the engineers will not have the acumen to manage, right? They are all hardcore technical people. The architects will not be able to manage. So this is one of the highest paying jobs. Okay. Computer and information system manager. So this does not mean you need to know coding. Okay, I have been in the IT industry for the last 22 years, and trust me, I only know the words of C, Java, whatever that they call Angular, JS and all that, but I have no clue anything beyond that. So you don't have to be a technical person. Having said that, you still need a manager to manage the team, manage the customer, manage the delivery. So there is a lot of management, and that's the next high-paid jobs. Okay, marketing manager across all industries, right? We are all here in products and services, so it has to reach the end customer. They need to know about the product, and that message has to go in the right way. So marketing managers are key. Even in the IT organization like organization which I work for, we have a separate marketing department which basically sends out the branding and the message that we want our customers to perceive us as. Okay. Natural Sciences Manager. Okay, so this is interesting. So in fact, the minute I saw this, I was like really and went up. So if you look as a cycle, I mean, we're all from India, so we know that the Indian Ayurvedic, what the naturopathy and all of those, we've been into that at least a century back. If you look at your grandma's medicine and all that, then a complete scientific thinking. Now, the new science is the natural science, right? Everybody wants to do everything in a natural way. May it be the buildings as green buildings, may it be the actual agricultural one, right? Even there they want to go all natural, no pesticides, organic, everything. The medicines, though there are a lot of the allopathy, again they are always going towards natural science. Even on a research and everything around this, so this is a field which is booming, which is probably getting its attention. So there is a unique field called Natural Sciences Manager, Financial Manager, Sales Manager, your Human Resources. Okay. Public Relations and Fundraising. Okay. So though this feels like more of an NGO type of job, yes, NGOs are also quite well paid. I have two friends who are in WHO and others who are getting extremely well paid. Okay? But having said that, this is becoming one of the key booming industry as well. Yeah. Training and Development Manager will never vanish because learning is key. Irrespective of however, wherever that you go in your career, you have to keep getting, you got to keep adapting to changes as I said, which means the team, the entire employees will have to be upskilled. So this is one field which is also quite high paying. So today, there's a compliance and there's a huge RFP, but my own client is not able to find a training and development manager within their all of Canada. So they are the Canadian's largest insurer, but they couldn't find that skill. So they're coming to us, and even within us, we were struggling. So they said, okay, we will go from RFP, we will find who will be able to give this as a service for me. Yeah. Okay. So before I move into typical interview questions, again, we're going to pause. I'm going to take some questions. Otherwise, we'll go back to our first question and as to what is your dream job and career. Okay. Questions, guys? I see a hand right behind.
Girl is coming, madam. One second.
Yeah, Srinivas, I'm very proud. It's all girls, right? I can barely hear you. Sorry, is the mic on?
Is this okay?
Yeah, perfect.
So in the previous slide you are showing like innovation. Please show me that slide.
Sure. Yes. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah. So ma'am, is the creativity is not the step for innovation and transformation? Are they both different? I think according to me, the creativity is the step for innovation and transformation, right? So,
okay, so creativity is literally out of the box thinking, okay? While you do a creativity, it needs to be implemented, isn't it? So while we can, as we said, right, you think literally of just about anything, right? So now we are looking at sending the passengers to the moon, passengers to Mars. So that's creativity. So what comes in your innovation and transformation is how do you make that creative thought into action. Okay. Again, in large organizations like Cognizant, we have specific sessions. There are methodologies and approaches how you can bring those creativity and get it implemented. So once your thought or innovation, the idea starts, then not all ideas are implemented, right? So then the ideas need to be tested to see if it is implementable. And how do we implement? Then we come up with an MVP or a POC. MVP is a minimum viable product to see if it works, or POC is proof of concept to see if it works. So until then, it falls under the innovation to see, are we able to, make your creative thought into an implementable one. The transformation happens when you really do the full-fledged, blown out. Now that I have an idea, and then I know it is implementable, now I have to literally transform the whole and get into your full big picture thing. Did I answer your question?
Ma'am, I am Ritesh. A similar question to the technical one also, the same slide.
You want to go with the technical one,
Yeah,
is it?
technical one.
Sure.
Ma'am, can you differentiate that basic tool and the technical platform?
Sure. So basic tools, let me tell you, your Microsoft tools, most of your Microsoft tools are basic tools. Okay. You need to be knowing all through your Word, which I'm sure your colleges and prepping before. Your Excel has so many built-in features, which we all learn on the job. But having said that, now that's become basics, right? Most of your formulas, your VLOOKUP, whatever that you want to do within Excel, because we're using Excel for many things, and your PowerPoint skills. Okay. Unfortunately, even in the industry, we see a lot of these proper core technical folks do not come with PowerPoint skills, even management folks. So not everybody comes from an MBA, but people grow up their career, right? And when they are managers, when they are senior managers, they will not be able to do a presentation properly. So those are the basic tools when we say as tools, right? And when it comes to technical platform, so the platforms like what I said as the PeopleSoft as a platform, right? They have platforms called the Salesforce as a platform. So SaaS as a platform. So if you look at it, if you into the financial industry, there will be specific as you get into it, right? They will ask saying, hey, do you know SaaS? Because most of the accounting firms use SaaS as a platform for their accounting. Some of them use Microsoft Access. And if you are into an HR person, right? So they would probably ask, have you worked in PeopleSoft? Why PeopleSoft? While a HR person should know the Microsoft tools, which I said, basic tools. So these PeopleSoft you probably not even have access to when you're actually studying, isn't it? But when you have at least some knowledge on the working of PeopleSoft, you will be on the job effective immediately. So those are the technical platforms. You don't need to know the platform, you should be able to work on the platform. You should know the basics of the platform and you should know the features of the platform so you're able to use the platform as a user. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
This is
Any other
Chandra.
question?
I have a question, ma'am. What do natural science manager do, ma'am? Natural science.
Sorry, I didn't hear that properly. Can you repeat the
What
question?
do natural science manager do?
What manager?
Natural science manager.
Natural science manager. Okay. Cool. And as I said, it was new to me when I saw that I had to do some research. Okay. All of these natural science projects, right? That itself is a huge research project which requires management, right from where they source, what they source, what approvals are required, right? Let's take, and let me give an agricultural or an Ayurvedic medicine as an example, if you want to really make it a full pharma wise, right? you do need somebody to effectively manage the end-to-end process, isn't it? There will be research scientists, doctors who would go and, oh, I see someone coming up. Finally, one boy coming up. Wow. Okay. Sorry. So, these natural science managers, it is an industry. So, natural science is going to be a big industry, and these managers will manage the end-to-end process of it.
Ma'am, what is the best way to manage your team? So one of your points was to be a team player.
Sorry, I think the mic is echoing so much. What manager?
One of the points you pointed at, we should be a team player. So what is the best way to manage your team?
I'm really sorry. Is somebody able to explain the question?
Ma'am, one of the points you noted that we have to be team player. So what is the best way to manage your team?
What is the best way to manage what?
Your team members.
Team members. Oh boy, it is an art in itself. Okay, let me tell you, each team member is different. That is a key skill. Okay, you should be in a position where the team members are willing to come and talk to you all their problems, okay? Not just official. Luckily, touch wood, at least looks like that's been my skill. Irrespective of your designations, people say open for policy, don't worry, right? It probably has not been. Martina, I'm sorry, can you just go on mute because there's a lot of background noise. Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please go on mute, ma'am? I think there is a background noise. Thanks, ma'am. Okay. So the best way to be managing your team members is, see, these days it's all agile. In fact, we call them as servant leaders. They're no more called as managers, okay? And people these days proudly put themselves as servant leaders. So treat yourself in that team member's shoes. Not all team members will be fully effective, right? Not all team members will have the same level of productivity. Not all team members will have the same luxury from their personal side. There will be people going through so much on their personal side. The first rule of thumb, they should be comfortable with you. You should give them enough comfort that they should trust you. Trust them first. How will they trust you? So you keep up their trust, right? So they should feel that you will help them at any given point in time. At least you will go to the extent possible to help. Okay. So today again I tell you, the vote was got placed. Not many are happy, but there are few folks who are saying, Anita, I actually got a better offer, but I'm not going. Because I know you and Moyle are doing so much for us that we believe you will be able to do something for us. Right? So that's a trust. And it is true. We go every additional step, even at the risk of literally even fighting with our own workers if we need to do something for the team. If there are certain team members who struggle, they don't even come and tell you. See, in this group of all of you, how many of you even came and how many of you have been vocal? If this was your team, and if there's somebody struggling, would you step forward and to help them, or would you expect them to come and reach out to you? So that will help you as a good team manager, right? Always maintaining a casual relationship, not just a formal relationship, will really help open doors. This is not just for team members. See, I think that's the rule of thumb that really helped me from a customer relationship management as well. So last year, I would probably say we did 80% more than the previous year in terms of my targets. Why? The minute that you are casual, the minute you behave as a true friend and an advisor. When I say true friend, it doesn't mean that you act as a true friend, but you really are a true friend and an advisor. People start, sharing, and you're able to help each other mutually. So a team manager does not mean you are better than your team members, right? So you play your role, they play their role, so both of you are equally important. So is the client and the vendor like us, right? We play our role, client plays the role, so neither my client bigger than me, nor am I bigger than him. Okay, but that's really a huge topic. You should start as management graduates. I would urge all of you to even start researching to think how to be a good manager and what are the challenges that come up.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Hey guys, that's all, isn't it? Just one guy could stand up. India, there are few folks who can happily quite eat. You go in front, but take the turn, right?
Excuse me guys, hello, excuse me. Don't have the fun here. Not sitting for the fun.
Good morning, ma'am.
Your name?
My name is Anvesh.
Hi.
So, as in your bio, you are the co-founder of Transnow company, right? You are the co-founder.
I'm really sorry. I want you to repeat your question again, please.
Bit louder.
You are the co-founder of Transnow company, right? Whatever it is, the organization of the company.
I don't know why I'm struggling to hear because of a lot of background noise.
No, he's asking the
Martin, are you
question.
able to hear the question? Then are you able to
Excuse me.
Use this mic.
Sir, I don't think it is the mic. I think it's a lot of background noise in the question as well.
Ma'am, you are the co-founder of your Transnow company, right? When you started it.
Sir, Srinivas sir, are you able to repeat the question?
He's asking that you are the co-founder of the what company?
Trans now, yes.
Transnow. Yeah, that's what he's asking. So
Yes,
what-
I am.
So what inspired you to start the company?
Okay, what inspired me towards starting the
Yeah.
company? Okay, so there was a phase, right, when I started working and all that. I'm sure all of you will come and reach this phase where at some point nothing really gives you that satisfaction. Just about nothing gives you satisfaction. You can get bonuses, you can get so much of money, your manager will appreciate, even the super bosses will come and appreciate, but you will feel like okay, and you'll move on. Alright. So what really inspired me as I did that was I was looking for what give me satisfaction. I realized serving others gives satisfaction. Okay. Nothing, let me tell you guys, nothing like when you do something for others, including this session. I think my husband was like, how do you just sleep the night? I'm like, I love talking to kids. Like, even if one of you are getting benefited with what we hear, and if you're able to learn, and that's going to make an improvement in your career, that's big for me. So I think that was what inspired me and motivated me to say, I want to do something, I want to start growing others' career. As the previous person asked, saying, how do you be a good team manager, right? I think that came as a skill for me, natural skill, which I think I'm really thankful that for being blessed with that. So I want to start sharing that and start helping others grow. It's not just me growing. What's the point in me growing all the way and then at some point in time moving away from this earth, right? So I thought if I am growing, I'll be truly growing if I can uplift others. And that was Transnow, right? To help others grow. More of a personal, development organization.
So, and what are the difficulties faced by you guys at the starting of the company?
I'm really sorry, it's absolutely not to you, but I'm still not able to hear you properly. Or maybe you need to keep the mic a little lower and then ask the question.
What are the difficulties faced by you guys?
What are the challenges that I
Yeah, exactly.
in my career or in terms now?
Yeah. In trans now.
Okay, in career, let me tell you, I have seen many others struggle, and that's one reason when I said girls came up in this book, I'm really happy, is women empowerment. Even now, when you are there, you would see there are discriminations across. To my biggest surprise, I will tell you, when I was in UK, I was shocked to the level of discrimination between men and women and how women are treated. And when it came to US, so now I'm a part of a lot of women empowerment organizations, helping others within my own company come up. Even much more senior folks come and say they're not even allowed to speak in a table, right? So if I go sit, okay, in my leadership, Canada Institute of Leadership, I'm the only woman. Okay. Luckily, people hear me because I'm very open. When I say I'm very open, I not to share my thought, even if my manager is wrong. Initially, it was other people who was looking, but they will good. They will think you're aggressive, but that's okay. But there are stages where you will struggle. You will think, oh my God, what do they think? That we had times when I had to come over all of that to start becoming open, and that is when really my career started going up. That's when I started getting visibility and attention from the leadership team.
And ma'am, my final question is, what instructions would you like to give to people who are to students who want to get into entrepreneurship?
So you're asking what do I want to tell students who want to do a startup? Is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Is my understanding right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This startup is not easy, okay? But that will give you immense satisfaction. Having said that, my mom is from as I said, I started my career helping my mom and all that, but my father advised me saying, you should start learning from what others learn, right? If you are doing a startup, there are few things. You should be a vivid learner because you need to know everything, right? If you are going for an employment, you just need to know marketing, you just need to know finance. Startups, you cannot. My friend Shubha Ganesh, I think she had addressed last time, right? So she was working and now she started startup in her 40s. Having said now my laptop shut down all of a sudden, so I'm just taking it on phone. That's okay. Off the video. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, now you are. Oh, I think it was my problem because I can hear you very well right now. Okay, awesome. So when you are doing a startup, you need to know end-to-end. If you really plan to do a startup, I would say focus on whatever that they're teaching in your first year itself. The reason being, it is not a specialized skill. You need to know marketing. You need to know finance. So my husband never worked. He's an entrepreneur and probably started as soon as he went to the college, right? But what I realized is my husband was great in marketing. He was great in communication. He was great in customer management. But he was not great in okay. And he learned his lessons in a hard way, and now he is learning. So if you want to be successful, of major pitfalls, two things I would adopt. keep your basic styles because you to start.
Anita madam, sorry for the interruption. Your voice is not clear.
Right from outset of organization, your compliance, your governance, your
Madam,
process.
Anita ma'am,
Yes, yes.
madam, there is a problem in your voice.
Okay, so let me, give me 2 minutes, sir, I think. Let
Yeah,
me
please,
start
please.
the backup, I'm back, yeah?
Please. Guys, you know, she's having international experience. So Martina madam arranged this particular session. She is the happy birthday, madam. Guys, you must use this opportunity to ask certain questions. She's from Canada, you know, she's the entrepreneur, you know, you can ask some questions. You're in the first year, you know, you should